What is going on, Tentacrew? My name is Billy the Squid, and today we are back with Chapter 5 of the Ultimate Armored Core S-Rank Guide. Today we'll be going through all of the Chapter 5 missions. This will be including both the good and the bad ending, the Ayre and Walter boss fights respectively, and will not be including the New Game Plus Plus secret ending. That and all the other New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus missions will be coming out in a future video. But today we're going to talk about Chapter 5, and I'm going to explain each one of the Chapter 5 missions and exactly what you need to do to get S ranks in each of these. S ranking missions in Armored Core come down to a few different factors, one being the time that you complete the mission, the other being the health that you lose during the mission, the ammo consumption that you use up during that mission, and in some instances bonus objectives from the mission itself. Each mission in Armored Core weighs these criteria a little bit differently, and I will be doing my best to explain exactly which criteria are most important, which builds will get the job done quickest, and the best strategies during the mission to get them done in a timely manner. So let's not waste any more time and get down to the nitty-gritty. Chapter 5, Mission 1, Escape. This one you will be forced to use the Jailbreak AC, and there is no other objective to this mission outside of surviving the mission and getting it done quickly. No other factor matters towards getting the S rank for this mission. That means you can use all the ammo that you have and take as much damage as long as it does not execute you. I completed this mission in about 3 minutes and 47 seconds, and with speed being the only real requirement, you can be fairly reckless and quick in this mission. Immediately starting out, assault boost through the tunnels. The Jailbreak AC does not do very well when it comes to side boosting or vertical boosting, but the assault boost is actually pretty decent, and the generator does recharge fairly quickly once your boot's on the ground. So use that to your advantage and use assault boost as much as possible to move around. You'll only be able to get about 2 side boosts out of the way before your generator burns out, and vertical boosting is almost non-existent. You'll do an entire vertical boost here later just to get out of the sewer section. Take the route around the sewers that I've been showing you, and as soon as you see the big quad mech at the end, take a right through those tunnels. You'll follow this tunnel all the way through, see 2 mechs ahead of you, and then once you get to the end, take a right out of the way. You are going to need to vertical boost up and out of this, as the assault boost angle does not get you quite high enough, and it will pretty well burn the entirety of your energy supply vertical boosting up out of here, just to be clear. As soon as you're clear of the sewers, assault boost up and to the right into the buildings beside of you. Bypass any mechs that you come across. These buildings should give you enough cover from any fire that comes at you, and should also prevent any other enemies from locking on. I would assault boost up and over any of these obstacles that get in your way. As I said before, the vertical boost is not very good, and with time being the biggest factor, you don't want to waste any of it trying to climb obstacles. Wash, rinse, repeat this technique until you are about 500 meters away from the objective marker. You'll see a bunch of mechs in front of you, and at this point you just want to beeline it directly for the objective. The sooner you get on top of that building, the sooner your help arrives and the sooner you can get out of this mission. Once you've reached the top, scan the marker, and then head over to the end of the cliff face. Back in behind the rightmost building I found to be the safest spot while you're waiting for reinforcements to arrive, as only 2 or 3 mechs should come around you at that time. Also, be clear, go ahead and heal whenever you need to. You can get bursted down very quickly, as this AC does not have a lot of health and gets staggered quite easily, so you want to stay topped off as much as possible. As soon as the next objective marker pops out, run over and grab it, and then immediately duck in behind the building, as more mechs are going to be dropped on that location. At this point, it's just waiting for survival until Carla arrives. Hiding in behind the corner of this building will make it so that only a few mechs are able to get to you before she is able to get there. Luckily, you have the spread rockets, and they should be enough to one-shot most of the MTs as they come your way. Once Carla arrives, the last objective is to clean out the last of the MTs, and with her help, this should not be a problem at all. Make sure to keep your health topped off, use the shotgun blast of the rockets as you see fit, and this S rank should be easily yours. Congratulations. Next, you have 2 mission options, and if you decide to go the Fires of Rubicon route, then the next mission you will have will be take the uninhabited floating city. This is another mission where you have to defend an objective, and quad mechs with their hover ability are the best for this. For this mission, I took 2 high-capacity missile batteries on my shoulders, the Dizzy rocket launcher on one arm, and the napalm launcher on the other. With this mission itself being on a timer, time is not a factor here, and honestly, none of the other cost factors matter as much as the bonus objective. This mission requires you to keep the shield on the tower up. If that shield bar goes down, you will not get the S rank for this mission, so keeping that up is the most important factor here. The last thing you want to make sure you have before the mission starts is the assault armor. This is going to be pivotal in making sure those Xylem shields stay healthy throughout the course of the mission. And once the mission begins, run down the center of the bridge. This is where the first wave of ships are going to come in and where you are going to meet them. You should be able to make it all the way to the end where the area starts blocking you off before they spawn in and the 5-minute countdown starts. I have the 10-cell missile battery on my right shoulder and the 6-cell plasma battery on the other. Locking onto all the ships in range with both of them and letting them go should make easy work of them. Immediately after this, go over to the rightmost bridge and see the 2 MTs running it down. Throw some napalm at them, they will run through the fire and easily take care of themselves, and then do the same on the left side of the bridge. Around the time you take these guys out, more ships should be coming from the left side. Do the exact same thing that you did with the first group of ships. Lock onto them with both shoulder batteries and unleash. Should take care of all of them lickety-split. When the clock hits 4:05, more ships will be coming, and they will also have ground MTs coming in underneath of them. You want to make sure that you throw napalm down at each of these ground MTs before you lock on with missile batteries to take care of the upper ships. On the right side, you'll have 2 MTs on the ground and then 1 ship in the air. Go ahead and just use your rocket launcher to take care of that one, as you will need the missile batteries for the group of ships in the middle. If you angle this properly, you can actually get your missile batteries to hit the ships themselves as well as the MTs on the leftmost bridge that are coming down. But if one straggles along, go ahead and take it out with either your rocket or your napalm. At this point, you want to set up at the leftmost laser cannon. At 3:05, you want to activate this and then immediately go over and activate the rightmost one. Snipers are on the way, and this is going to be a make or break moment for this mission, as they can do a lot of damage to the Xylem shields. Activating the leftmost one first means that any snipers that come to the left, at least at the start of this round, should be taken care of, and you can go ahead and get the right sniper all the way in the back. Your rocket is going to be the most consistent way of taking these guys out, as the napalm will get the job done, but they might be able to get a shot off before it can finish the job. When the next wave comes in, you are going to be on your own to take care of them. If you're able to lock on with your shoulder batteries, you can take them out in a volley, but make sure that they're not going to be flying over top of you, as it can sometimes break that lock and cause you to take unnecessary damage to the shields. Otherwise, napalm and the rocket launcher should be enough to one-cycle each of these guys, and you should only take 1 or 2 hits during this phase. If you take any more, I would suggest restarting, as the next wave might take those shields all the way down. The next wave that's going to be coming through are bomber drones. They are going to spawn right near the tops of those 2 tall towers in the middle of the middle bridge, so you want to get over there as quick as possible and get as much altitude as you can. They do start fairly high up in the air, and as soon as they start flying past you, unleash your assault armor. If you time it a little earlier than what I did, you should be able to take out the majority of the drones, but as long as not all of them get through, you should have enough Xylem shield left to get through this mission. And you need to be ready, because the next wave at 1 minute and 30 seconds starts, and this is the big one. These faster MTs coming in on the drones are going to be extremely hard to take out before they land, so my suggestion would be get to the base of the tower and use your napalm to take out the MTs as they are landing. The biggest threat, and the one you want to take out before the rest of the reinforcements arrive, is the strong MT in the middle bridge. He is by himself, and he is going to be a big threat, especially if you're not able to take him out before the rest of the reinforcements get there. Unload everything you have into this man, including your rocket batteries, and as soon as you see that stagger go off, unload with the rocket launcher. Napalm should tick him down, as well as the plasma batteries, and as soon as he gets taken down, immediately go over and start taking care of the ships. If you can get this done quickly enough, you can get one of these ships done before they drop, and then the rest of the MTs do tend to group up, so your rocket or your napalm should be able to finish them all off in one shot. And at this point, the last 30 seconds is just about survival. More ships are going to be coming in. They're going to be these speedier drones dropping off single MTs. So it should not be too difficult to take care of them, even if they are able to drop the MTs off themselves. Once again, napalm and your rockets should get the job done. They are close enough to each other that the splash from the rocket should finish them off. Last waves coming down each of the bridges on the ground. Throw some napalm at their feet as they're walking forward and just wait for that timer to finish up. And at that point, you've got your S rank. Congratulations. Next up, we have Intercept the Corporate Forces, and this is going to be 3 major fights, one right after the other, right after the other. As such, we're going to take a light dueling AC with the dual ducats, a Huxley turret on your shoulder, and the Ashmead to round it out. You can also take the laser dagger, but I find the Ashmead a lot better for the first 2 fights. Health is going to be the major factor here. Your repair costs, you definitely don't want to use up too much in the first 2 encounters, as the final encounter will probably put you to the test and cost you quite a bit. Speed being the secondary factor, I finished this mission in 5 minutes and 21 seconds, and ammo with the build we have is negligible. At the start of the mission, beeline it on top of the buildings to your left and head towards where you see all of the gunfire. In the middle of that, there should be an LC hovering above the rest of the crowd. This is your primary target. Go ahead and engage him and take him out. Once you get the stagger on him, 1 Ashmead charge should get the job done. From there, bob and weave through the buildings towards the next objective marker until you get to the big bubble shield. Go inside and destroy the one making the bubble, as well as the one guarding it. It will follow you while you're trying to open the door, but as soon as that is done, open that door and get into your first boss fight of the mission. This is a heavy cavalry unit, similar to the captain that you fought in the duo versus duo fight with Rusty by the Ice Worm. This fight is specifically why we brought the Ashmead over the laser dagger, in my opinion. This man stays staggered for forever, and getting those Ashmead charges off will make this fight go on very, very quickly. Whereas with the laser dagger, I feel like this fight can drag and you can take some unnecessary damage. And as I said in the beginning, the health that you use in this mission is going to be the biggest contributing factor. 1 full Ashmead charge and then a bump once you get him staggered a second time should get the job done. Go ahead and resupply, as these do not take away from your repair cost at the end of the mission, and get ready for your last encounters. Heading out the tunnels, there will be a small ambush of MCs right here in the tunnel. Go ahead and take them out quickly. None of them are elite, so they should go down into 1 to 2 ducat blasts, and then go through and open the next door. Follow the objective markers up and out, and take out every MC that you come across along the way to get to your final fight objective alongside Chatty Stick. You do want to take out every MC in this area, as they will kind of ambush you and gank you while you're trying to get the job done. There will be 2 elite LCs here, and you want to solo one out and take it out as quick as possible. Getting a stagger and a full Ashmead charge will get the job done, and they do stay staggered for a long time, so don't feel like you need to rush to get that charge off and potentially whiff it. Once one is taken out, I found it significantly easier to clear out the rest of the MCs before focusing on the second one, and Chatty Stick will help you clear them out whenever you do. Unfortunately for the final fight of the mission, Chatty is taken out promptly by V1 Freud, and it becomes a 1-on-1. With the ducats in the Huxley, Freud does get staggered very easy, but he is also one of the only AC pilots that actually uses his shield to remove the stagger potentially from him. So the first time you get him close to stagger, he will pop a shield. It is okay to actually go up and charge a full Ashmead into him, as this will take out the majority of that shield. Unfortunately, he does not stay staggered for very long, and there are very few opportunities that I was able to find to get a fully charged Ashmead off. You can go ahead and attempt to get these off, but I would not unless you are directly beside of him whenever he does go into stagger. Otherwise, I would just do a single bump into him. It will do a lot of damage regardless, just won't kill him quite as quickly. This fight is going to be a big test, as with him using those shields to remove stagger quite often, the fight's going to drag out a very long amount of time. And he has a good setup. He has the funnels, he has the shotgun rockets, he has a lot of things to make your life extremely miserable. But if you're able to get a few Ashmead charges off, or even just one of the large Ashmead charges off, he should burn his heals fairly quickly and give you time to go in and get the job done. As long as you didn't burn a whole lot of health during the first part of the mission before the first resupply, you should be able to burn most of your healing charges and your health during this segment, and you very well might need to. But with enough time, aggression, and maybe a lucky Ashmead charge or two, you should be able to get this mission finished and get your S rank. Congratulations. This is the power fantasy mission of the game, Chapter 5, Breach the Karman Line. This is an infinite boost all-out assault on the Aquebus Interceptor fleet with a juiced up boss fight with our buddy Rusty at the end. As such, we are taking a single Zimmerman, the laser dagger, the Huxley turret, and the laser lance. Yes, we are going double melee for this mission, as ammo costs surprisingly are a big factor in this mission, as are repair costs. Time is not that much of a factor, but I did finish this mission in about 5 minutes and 24 seconds. This mission is an absolute blast and one of my favorites to do in quick succession, as each one of these ship approaches is basically the only time you can really take damage, and each approach is kind of like a little puzzle in itself. On this first one, you can just beeline straight for the ships. You're going to have a few lasers come at you, but none of them are really going to be a big threat. The reason we took 2 melee weapons is because the laser lance actually will one-shot each one of these ships, as well as the laser dagger. So whichever one you prefer to take these ships out with, go ahead, equip it, and do that job. That'll save us on the much-needed ammo for this mission, as well as make it fairly quick to progress from ship to ship. Once the first group of ships is out of the way, approaching the second one is going to be about dodging lasers. If you are above the ship, the lasers will not go above these ships. So get as high above that first one as you can as you approach to make it null and void. The rest of them will continue to shoot lasers at you, but honestly, I didn't find that much trouble in dodging them. There's so much space in between the lasers that you shouldn't have to worry about getting hit. The next fleet will be in the bottom left of where you just destroyed that last ship. And these ones are a little bit odd. You want to actually get down to ship level with each of them, as if you stay too high above them, they will send multiple missile barrages directly at you. And if you get below, they can also transfer those missiles down to the underside of the ship to hit you as well. But if you stay right at ship level, the missiles will go right over your head, making for an easy approach. And then we come to the final fleet of ships. These ones are going to shoot railgun cannons at you, and it is a little bit of a timing game to dodge each one of these blasts. You want to wait about a second after you see the flash of light from each of the cannons before doing a side dodge, or they might track you and still hit you. Luckily, you only have to dodge about 4 or 5 barrages from each of the ships before you actually get there, and then you can go ahead and take out these ships one by one. Go ahead and get the first closest ship to you, and then beeline it to the one all the way in the back. Carla will actually take care of the rightmost 2, and then once you get to that last one, it is time for your fight with your buddy Rusty. A few things to mention about this fight with Rusty is he has changed out some of his weaponry, so you want to make sure that you are ready for that. He's going to be a lot more threatening than he was before. Also, you both have infinite boost in this fight, so he's going to be a lot more mobile than he was before, which was always his biggest strength. The biggest thing that we did with this mission is taking both the laser lance and the laser daggers. Rusty is extremely susceptible to the laser lance itself, and especially if you're able to get a Zimmerman blast on him before you go in with the laser lance, it is an almost guaranteed stagger every single time. Immediately swap over to your laser dagger from there on, and then combo him while he is staggered. He will not have enough time to do an Ashmead charge, which is why we did not bring it. Keeping the Huxley out at all times will also make sure he's always got a little bit of stagger built up before you go in with the laser lance. Usually the best time to do a lance blast is right after he does a side jet, as he has a little bit of a cooldown beforehand, or whenever he is at an extended range away from you. With this strategy, it should not be too hard to get that first phase of the fight down. And remember, he does have a second phase where he gets a big shield and half of his health back. Wait out the shield while softening it up with the Huxleys and the Zimmerman blasts, and then wash, rinse, repeat what you were doing in the first phase. Keeping a mid-distance will keep you safe from his melee weapon, which in my opinion is his most deadly weapon in his arsenal, and waiting for times to go in with the laser lance. This phase should be done just as quickly as the first, and your S rank should be yours. You put up a good fight, and you earned it. Congratulations. And finally, for the Fires of Rubicon ending, we have Shut Down the Closure Satellite. This is a 1v1 against our brain buddy Ayre, and is probably the most difficult boss fight in the entire game. As such, we are taking dual Vientos, a Huxley, and an Ashmead with a light frame mech. This is going to be a struggle and might take multiple attempts to get that S rank for you. I did this in about 2 minutes and 39 seconds. And if you just make this mission through without dying, the S rank should be awarded to you. Both health and ammo costs aren't super factored in, as I did take a bunch of abuse during the course of this mission. Phase 1 of this fight is actually the most difficult part of this mission because she starts off with a giant shield. The reason we took the dual Vientos and not something like dual Zimmermans or dual Ducats is because the Vientos have an actually decent rate at bringing down shields. And as opposed to the pulse guns, which while they do good damage to shields, do not do good damage to ACs once the shields are down, the Vientos feel like a good balance between the two. The biggest thing that you need to take into consideration here is bringing that shield down as quickly as possible through Viento blasts and Huxley blasts, and as soon as that shield comes down, unloading with a fully charged Ashmead. I would not waste my ammo outside of getting that Ashmead charge and then waiting for the shield to pop up. Yes, you can get some damage with the Vientos, but you aren't going to have enough time in most situations to be able to get a second stagger off and a second Ashmead charge off. If you're better at this game than I am and you feel like you can do it, be my guest, but I did not find very good success in that play style. It tended to be as soon as I was about to get her staggered, the shield would pop back up, and then I would be left with less ammo and not enough damage down to get to the second phase. If you're feeling super risky, assault armor could also be an easy way of getting these shields brought down, but I've only found consistency on getting her hit with the assault armor whenever she is coming in with a melee attack, and I tended to have to tank that melee attack to be able to get that assault armor charge off before she dodges away. Otherwise, if I tried to dodge the melee attack and then assault armor, she would back off and the assault armor would miss completely. The closer you can get her to 50% health before that last stagger goes off, the better, because if you can get a full Ashmead charge off, it will take a significant amount of health from her second phase away, making the fight go by significantly quicker. Once second phase starts, she will summon a bunch of coral soldiers to slice at you and then dash in herself. She might also follow this up by turning herself into a ship and dive bombing you. If this happens, go straight up into the air. This is the easiest way to dodge this move, as for some reason her ships don't seem to want to track you while you're up in the air. If she goes up into the air and starts charging, that means she's going to do a massive beam attack. Go ahead and get directly underneath of her. This will help you dodge that attack, and then continue the aggression. There is no shield in this phase, so it is all about getting staggers and Ashmead charges off. And with the damage that you should have been able to get onto her before the phase change happened, only 2 Ashmead charges should be necessary. Using the Huxleys and the Vientos to chip away whatever health is left from her should end in a W for you, and as long as you didn't perish during the fight at any point, this should be the Fires of Rubicon ending S rank. Congratulations. And now for the other possible ending route of Chapter 5. And to start off the Liberator of Rubicon ending, we must eliminate Cinder Carla. This is probably the most difficult mission of Chapter 5 for this route, as both the Carla and Chatty Stick fighting side by side can be quite overwhelming. We are going to take dual Zimmermans and dual Huxleys for this particular mission with a fast frame. Health is the primary determiner of this S rank, with time being a close second. I finished this in 3 minutes and 48 seconds. From mission start, you're going to beeline it underneath of this bridge. We're going to ignore every single MC in this area. Once you get under the bridge, assault boost directly underneath the top of the bridge. If you fly too low, one of the rocket mechs will hit you as you're flying past, taking away a little bit of that repair cost that you might need for the boss fight. Fly past all the buildings, and also fly past V2 Snail. You can typically take him out, but considering that he is not required for the S rank of this mission, and time is of the essence, plus ammo and health that would be spent fighting him, it is just simply not worth it. Go all the way over to the objective marker and get ready to be ambushed. Your primary target for this is going to be the mechs that are giving off the discharge field. You want to be able to take them out from a good distance away, and luckily the Zimmerman has a pretty decent distance. Find one corner that you can kind of hold yourself off into and pick them off one by one while not stopping moving. There's a lot of missiles that are going to be flying around, and while they don't do a lot of damage, you don't want to be chipped down before the inevitable boss fight coming up. Look for the glows, take them out as you see them, and then once all the discharge fields are taken care of, go ahead and take out the last of the MTs and then get ready for Carla. The 1v2 versus Chatty and Carla can be a bit overwhelming, but I have found that as soon as the mission spawns, go behind the right or leftmost pillar and wait for Carla to approach you. We are going to take her out first, and this pillar here will give us a good amount of protection from Chatty's barrage from upstairs. Once you get in behind the pillar, he will actually circle around trying to get as close to you as possible, which will mean that most of his missiles will go into the ceiling directly above you, giving you a juicy 1v1 with Carla herself. If he starts to get a little bit too antsy, duck back in behind the pillar and wash, rinse, repeat. Make sure she comes to you, because going out in the open is not advisable for this fight. We did not take a melee weapon because being stationary at any point during this altercation outside of once you've taken one of them out is not advisable, and double Huxley's, double Zimmerman's does have enough DPS to get the job done very quickly, and with ammo costs not being a factor, it is the easiest and safest bets. After that, beeline it to Chatty. He will not be nearly as threatening without Carla being up your butt the entire time. So find a corner, pin him into it, and unleash hell into this AI. And once this is all said and done, you will get that last bit of dialogue before the mission closes out, and you have your S rank. Congratulations. Next up, we have Destroy the Drive Block. This is going to take you on a duos mission with Rusty, with a few boss fights mixed in. As such, we are going to take dual Zimmermans, a Huxley, and an Ashmead for the best of both worlds for both of these boss fights. While the Vientos might be better for the final boss, the Zimmermans do the best in both worlds. This is a fairly lengthy mission, with me taking 7 minutes and 7 seconds to complete it, and time being the #1 factor, as well as survival. Repair and ammo costs are negligible throughout this mission. As you approach the building, be sure to hug the leftmost side of the building to dodge out from that railgun at the end of the breezeway. Going on inside, there is a drive block in the back of this room, as well as a drive block up near the front of this room. Take out any MCs that get in your way, and use your Ashmead to one pump each of these drive blocks. That's going to be how you take out each of these. No reason to waste ammo on something that can't fight back. Once you've taken out that first drive block, go to the other side of the room, and up and to the left will get you to an outside space. Take out each one of these flyers, as they do have lasers on them that are very accurate at sniping you and can make you take a little bit of unnecessary damage that you might need for the boss fights to come. Once you get to the end, go into the right and find that last drive block and take it out promptly. Once outside, go ahead and take out the flyers again. These are the most dangerous MCs that come to you. And then immediately duck over to the left side. Use the building itself to protect you from the railgun and push your way forward. There will be a quad mech up ahead that if you fight down on its terms, the laser should not be able to actually hit you. You should be able to easily stagger this beast, Ashmead at once, and then the Huxleys and one more blast should be able to take it out. Immediately go up and melee the cannon, and then be able to go upstairs and inside. Make your way through these enemy-free tunnels, and make your way out to the other side, where you will meet your first boss of the mission, Cinder, Carla's Smart Cleaner from Chapter 2. Luckily, you have a buddy along with you this time that will distract it head on while you rain hell from above down into the smokestack. It takes about 3 pumps from each of the Zimmermans to get a stagger if you get clean hits. If not, it might take a little more, but as soon as you get in there, go ahead and walk forward and give a full Ashmead charge to the face. Be careful, those spinners will still hit you even though they're not moving, and you can kind of stagger yourself out of some potential damage, although they won't do that much damage to you. You can have the Huxley going off as this is going on if you feel like it. It will do a decent amount of stagger damage, but I do feel like it is wasted here and should be better spent on the secondary boss fight to come. A few rounds of stagger and a few Ashmead charges to the face should be enough to finish off the cleaner and get you on to the next mission. With Rusty bailing out, the next 2 generators are for you to take out. Go straight ahead into the next set of rooms and take out any MTs that get in your way. Once you reach this gated wall, up and to the right will get you up and past it and get you to where the first drive block is. Go ahead and take it out and then move on to the next one. Down and to the right, we'll have another opening that opens you up to a massive room full of MTs. Go ahead and ignore them, head over to the right, and then follow your way upwards. This will lead you to the second dry block and the final one that you will need. Straight ahead from that drive block should be another opening, and this will lead you out to the resupply and to the final challenge of this mission, the final fight against Snail in Balteus. This fight is honestly going to play out almost exactly like Balteus 1 did, but I find this one actually a bit easier. While he does have a lot more attacks and you're going to get hit a lot more consistently, his attacks don't do nearly as much damage because they are all pulse-based weapons. The only thing you really have to dodge on him is any of his railgun shots or any of his melee moves in Phase 2. Run up and get as close as you can to him, unload into him with the Zimmermans and the Huxley burning, and then Ashmead into him. Keep the stagger going, and you should be able to get a quick second stagger off before the shield pops up. If not, wash, rinse, repeat until Phase 2 happens. Be aware at the start of Phase 2, once you get him past the 50% health mark, he will regain his shields, but do so with a giant assault armor burst that will do quite a bit of damage to you. Dodge this out of the way, and then move in to take that shield down again. In this phase, he will transition to melee-centered moves. Instead of it being melee flames, it is melee lasers. But it does not really change how this fight goes. And once you get that shield down once, you should be able to get it down a second time and finish the job. Congratulations. One more mission to S rank after this one. And the last mission of the Liberator of Rubicon ending is bring down the Xylem. Following some arbitrary engine destruction, this is a 1v1 versus your handler Walter after Aquebus did whatever they did to him. Dual Vientos, a Huxley, and a laser dagger are going to be the play, as he does not stay staggered for long but does stagger easily. Just like with air, survival and speed is the #1 thing for this mission, and I finished it in 2 minutes flat. Take out the engines and then prepare for your 1v1 versus your old friend. He uses full coral weaponry but does not have a shield like Air does, making this a significantly easier fight in my opinion. Unloading with dual Vientos and a Huxley going should be enough to stagger him at close range extremely easily. If he ever goes up into the air and hovers, he is going to do a long blast with his laser, or he is going to do a charged up attack that sweeps the entire area. Get underneath of him for both of these for maximum dodging and maximum damage on his side. Anytime you stagger him, go in with the laser daggers and then back off to wash, rinse, repeat, and do it again. Walter does have a few melee moves similar to Air, but he is significantly slower than her and is a lot easier to dodge up and around them. I would definitely suggest going over top of him or underneath of him for most, if not all, of the dodging you require, as doing so will not only dodge the attacks, but get you in close. Using your mobility and his lack thereof to your advantage, get several staggers off on him, probably 4, and this mission should be over, and the Liberator of Rubicon ending has been S-ranked. Congratulations. If you found this guide helpful, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. The New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus S-Rank missions will be coming out soon, as well as a new stream where I try to go through the entirety of Armored Core 6 as Invincible Rummy, so be on the lookout for that. But until next time, Tentacrew, much love, take care, bye-bye.